And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and we are back live today talking about everybody's favorite topic right now, the Aaron Rodgers saga. And I gotta tell you, I'm just over it. I'm sick of it. I mean, it's been not even a full week, 4 days since Aaron Rodgers, the possibility of him becoming the Steelers quarterback, and I'm already sick and over it. We're going to get into that here in a matter of moments, talking about a handful of topics here today. Of course, Aaron Rodgers and how ridiculous the situation has become. The Steelers have fallen down Cooper Kupp's list of potential landing spots, according to a couple reports this morning. Steelers meeting with a couple of draft prospects, and there's a couple more that they have been reported to have liked, one of which I want them to take in the first round. A couple more Steelers topics that are, pretty minor. Mason Rudolph signing becoming official today. That's always nice to see the Steelers make that official. Pittsburgh Penguins last night winning 3 in a row, but you got to wonder, are they tanking their tank right now? Ever since Tristan Jarry came back up from the AHL, he's been lights out, and you were kind of hoping that you would get the Jarry from, earlier this year. Tristan Jarry, when the games matter, doesn't play all that well. And then when the Penguins have nothing to play for and everything to lose for, Jarry turns into like prime Dominic Hasek or something. And then a couple of Pirates tidbits gonna get this live stream going, get it in under 6 o'clock, hopefully here tonight. The Pirates in spring training action down in Bradenton, Florida, against the Detroit Tigers tonight. So let's get right into the first segment. Not waiting around here. The Aaron Rodgers segment has gotten completely ridiculous. It has changed multiple times throughout the games. Nobody, not you, not me, not the Steelers, not anybody else in this world, except for Aaron Rodgers right now, knows what he's thinking. Rodgers, he's, contemplating walking along the beach and all that, thinking about his future and, where he's planning to sign. And nobody knows what he's going to do except for him. Insider of the day today, NFL Insider of the Day, Diana Rossini of The Athletic. She's been in the news all day long today. She reported this morning that Rodgers' agent did inform both the Steelers and the Giants that he was going to make a decision soon, and also that the agent alluded to the Steelers being the favorites out of the two. Rossini added that what the Giants have going for them is that reportedly their offer is more money than what the Steelers are offering. And I'm going to be honest, even though the agent thinks that Rodgers, if he had to pick between the Giants and the Steelers, would choose the Steelers, I don't remember a time at all in his career where Rodgers, took a pay cut or made a financial sacrifice to go to a team or to stay with a team. So money talks in this league. You just saw it with Myles Garrett. We'll get to a comment he made in a little bit, but money in the NFL right now, it talks. It especially talks for Aaron Rodgers. I think at the end of the day, he's going to go to the highest bidder, and we'll see how things go from there. But that was the report as of this morning, probably around 10 or 11 o'clock. Then you go back to, you fast forward to this afternoon. Rossini back at it again. She reported again this afternoon that Rodgers is now giving the Minnesota Vikings time to mull over and think about offering Rodgers a contract. Minnesota right now having that internal discussion of either bringing in Rodgers or fully committing to their first-round pick from last year, quarterback out of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy, who McCarthy missed all of last season with an ACL injury. I believe he was supposed to play last year. They brought in Sam Darnold as a guy to, start the year, bring McCarthy along slowly, and then put him in there. McCarthy did not play at all last year, ACL injury, of course, and now they are discussing whether, if they're going to trust this kid coming off this injury to go in there and be their day one starter, or if they should bring in Rodgers to start the year, or, possibly be the starter full time. Because, I mean, Rodgers, I think there's no doubt in my mind that if the Vikings are now in the fold, that's his first option. Kevin O'Connell offense up there in Minnesota, very friendly to quarterbacks. He's going to be throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. So no doubt Rodgers would go there. And Rossini gave more of her thoughts on 93.7 The Fan just about an hour ago, saying that the Vikings are in fact leaning towards giving Rodgers, making Rodgers an offer, at least talking to him, and that Rodgers' preference is to go to Minnesota. Like I just said, it's just a matter of, them offering him a contract pretty much. I think he wants to go there first and foremost out of anything. And, with that changing from, oh, he's going to go to Pittsburgh, his decision's coming soon, to now he's going to wait and probably carry this thing on for at least another week waiting for the Vikings. He's going to wait, begging, praying, hoping that the Vikings are going to make him an offer, carry this thing out, and then go there. Pretty much throwing the Steelers under the bus, throwing the Giants under the bus. And yeah, I mean, we aren't even a week into this, saga, and it's the Brandon Ayuk thing all over again. We saw the same exact movie play out last year, where it seems like every day you're waking up, you're refreshing the Twitter timeline, and you're waiting to see, oh, did Rodgers make his decision? Is he signing? When's that now? We did the same exact thing last year with Ayuk, and just like Rodgers is probably doing right now, Ayuk used the Steelers to get the team that he wanted, to make him the offer that he wanted, and then Ayuk ended up going back to San Francisco. That's what Rodgers is doing right now. It's the Steelers, I feel, waiting for the Vikings, hoping that they come to the decision of making him an offer, and he's going to go there just like that. It's not going to take any time whatsoever for him to think about that decision. So Rodgers taking the Brandon Ayuk route, using the Steelers to, get what he wants. I opened up earlier this week to the possibility of Rodgers becoming the Steelers quarterback. And, now I'm just over it. And for as much as this has drawn out and it's gotten so annoying, I don't want him here anymore. I'm just willing to bite the bullet of Mason Rudolph being our starting quarterback, and probably what I want to happen, the Steelers draft Jackson Dart out of Mississippi at number 21. I don't think there's anything left to talk about with Russell Wilson. We're probably going to get a report here sometime tonight. He was scheduled to visit with the Giants today. He visited with the Browns in Cleveland yesterday. There was a whole TMZ freaking paparazzi thing. Oh, there he goes in the car. I don't think you're going to see Wilson. I don't think he's on the Steelers' radar, and I don't think the Steelers are on his radar, even though, he's doing the right thing PR-wise, posting happy birthday to some Steeler players and, keeping the door open on his end at least. Let's go to the comments right here. Slammin' Sam here. Welcome back. I don't think Rodgers' play style fits the Steelers system. Absolutely. I mean, in the Arthur Smith system, when it was at its best, you had Ryan Tannehill, a guy who was sort of a jack of all trades, master of none, a guy who was, mobile enough to elude pressure, break off a run here or there, and throw the ball when needed to your top target. I think Mason Rudolph does that pretty well. He's very slept on in terms of him being able to move around and get first downs with his legs when needed. And also, I think Jackson Dart is that kind of guy, too. He's a great passer, flying up people's draft boards left and right. I'm going to get to Dart, mention him more here in a moment from a report from Steelers insider Jerry Dulac. I'm very high on Jackson Dart. I want him in the first round, or possibly my dream scenario here for the Steelers draft would be Steelers are sitting there at 21. They're still either all the defensive tackles are gone that I want them to take, all the first round defensive tackles, either all of them are gone, or either they're all still there and the Steelers can afford to trade back, maybe get a third round pick, second round pick, something like that for another team to move up. Offensive linemen, they are getting talked about very highly right now among NFL draft experts. And, you could see a big run on offensive linemen in the first round. Don't think the Steelers are going to take a wide receiver in the first round because now they have DK Metcalf. So that takes that first round option out there for the Steelers. Don't need to take a wide receiver, can afford to trade back and let a couple of them go off the board as well. Slamming here again. I say Rudolph, Jameis, and draft Dart. Well, right now, I think Rudolph definitely, draft Dart absolutely. Jameis, I don't see any way he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. No offense. I think there's, as much as entertaining and hilarious it would be, Jameis, the person and human being, just for the sole entertainment for it, every day of the week, I'm putting him on the Steelers. But, Mike Tomlin played against that dude last year and saw Jameis either, throw for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards or throw 3 interceptions and, just keep chucking it into danger. Mike Tomlin is one of the biggest, no risk taking coaches in the NFL, and he's not going to, play nicely with Jameis Winston there. Just two complete and total opposite mindsets between coach and player there. Jameis is cheap, and even if he's a QB3, he'd be the best QB3 in the league. Absolutely. I mean, if we're talking QB3 instead of backup, I'd definitely start Rudolph at the year, let Dart come in and, have Jameis be the quarterback 3. But it'd be funny, telling Mike Tomlin, just listen, go out there, protect the ball, either throw to the guy when he's completely open or chuck it 5 rows into the stands. And that would just be a funny interaction all day long. You see, if Winston were on the Steelers last year, I would tune in to Hard Knocks so much just to see the behind-the-scenes banter between Winston and Tomlin. Also, it'd be hilarious seeing Winston walk around doing a city tour of Pittsburgh. That'd be pretty hilarious as well. But yes, all aboard the whole, let Rudolph start, draft Jackson Dart, and have Dart take over midway through the year. Or if Rudolph takes, command of the offense, just let Rudolph go. We saw him end on, pretty good terms with, pretty good stats when he was last with the Steelers. Just ran into a buzzsaw, which was the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs in 2023. So now, real quick, we'll come back to more Steelers stuff, probably as, more people come in and ask questions like jamming here. Let's get here real quick to the Steelers apparently falling down Cooper Kupp's list. Everybody and their mama who's, a Yinzer and a Steelers fan would absolutely be thrilled to have Cooper Kupp added to this offense, even though you just added DK Metcalf and you have George Pickens. Putting Cooper Kupp in the slot would give the Steelers probably the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL without a shadow of a doubt. But, reports were coming in that there were around 5 teams, possibly more, interested in Kupp, and there wasn't really a mention of the Steelers. There was a mention from Jordan Schultz, Fox Sports NFL insider. He said that, Kupp doesn't plan on having a long, drawn-out process and prefers to make a decision quickly. Said that Kupp has interest from at least 5 teams. Mentioned that the Denver Broncos were firmly in the mix as at least one of the 5 teams. So Kupp possibly, mulling over joining Cortland Sutton up in Evan Ingram in Denver with Bo Nix throwing him the ball. And, that was last night when Schultz reported that. And then earlier today, Adam Schefter, probably the most dialed in NFL insider of them all, said that the Cowboys Dallas Cowboys are making a push for Kupp as well. So you take the Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and you add the Broncos with Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, and then 3 other teams. I don't know how much the Steelers, are involved. They probably at least did their due diligence. They've been interested in Kupp before. They at least gave Kupp, a call saying, hey, here's our offer. We hope that, you come to us. But I don't think the Steelers are going to add him as much as I want them to. You have DK Metcalf now and George Pickens, probably, easily a top 5 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the NFL. And then you'll have in the slot either Calvin Austin or what will hopefully be a healthy and up to speed Roman Wilson, who was your 3rd round pick out of Michigan last year. And then on top of that, Steelers yesterday, they brought back 2 depth wide receivers. They re-signed Scotty Miller to a 1-year contract, and they re-signed Ben Skoranek, who I wanted them to bring back. That's a 2-year deal for Skoranek, and the salary came out for that deal just a hour ago, $4.5 million over 2 years. Absolutely love that. 2 guys that can catch the ball, run a couple routes, play a couple of snaps if you need them to, and then 2 guys that can contribute on special teams as well. Let's go back here to the comments section real quick. Slamming, loving the action in here. 6 of you in here right now. Please don't hesitate to comment like Slam and Sam here. I think Russ is the best option, but because the Steelers were more interested in Rodgers, I'm not sure Russ wants to come back. And yeah, Russ, the whole narrative over the past couple of days was that everybody's waiting for Rodgers to make a decision, including Russ. Well, Russ meeting with the Browns now and the Giants shows that, he's not planning to wait around. He's probably, when this is all said and done, if Rodgers goes to the Vikings, go to the Giants, he's going to be the automatic starter there. And, that's assuming that they don't take, Shadur Sanders, or should Cam Ward be available there at number 3. So Russ isn't waiting around for Rodgers to make a decision. Clearly the Steelers are. So yeah, as much as, if you think Russ is the best option, I could probably be talked into him coming back, but then you got to go back over, recency bias, history, the 5-game losing streak, the disconnect with Arthur Smith, yada, 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 down that whole, rabbit hole of why things didn't work out here in Pittsburgh. Moving on to the next Steelers segment here. Steelers, it is that time of year where the draft combine was now 2 weeks ago, or 2 weekends ago now. The combine was, and Steelers now doing visits with prospects. They met with, I think I reported on the channel before, 69 at least prospects at the combine itself, and now they're bringing in some of those prospects as visits. They've already brought in, just going off the top of my head here, quarterback Tyler Shuck from Louisville, wide receiver Jalen Knoll from Iowa State. Love Knoll and his tape. Wouldn't mind having him. Same with Shuck. DJ Giddens. Love how he looked in his style of play. They also brought in as a local visit, technically a tackle in college, but he's going to be a guard in the NFL, Wyatt Millam from West Virginia. That's a local visit. Doesn't count towards their top 30 visits. If you draft Millam, you're probably looking at him as, a backup to begin his career behind either Isaac Seumalo or Mason McCormick, probably taking over for Seumalo when he becomes a free agent next offseason. But those are just some of them off the top of my head. I got to go back. I got them bookmarked here who all, visited with the Steelers. But now today, Steelers hosted a few more. First one, absolutely love running back Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Absolutely love that visit. I have on my computer here, I made myself a spreadsheet of all of the draft prospects that I like and that the Steelers have, met with or been in touch with at least once during this whole draft process. I'm going to be referencing that a bunch when I go live for the draft here in April. And, I haven't gotten around to, moving these players up and down their respective positions. But right now, I am very much considering, in the running back section, Aston Genty is by far the number one. And then you have Omari and Hampton at number two. Number three is up for grabs, and Dylan Sampson is in heavy consideration in my book to be my number three running back. And, he'll probably be at most a second rounder, but he also could be there, in the third or fourth round, maybe for the Steelers to take him. I absolutely love his production in college. I think he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year or something like that was Sampson. I think he had 22 touchdowns as well. Just an absolutely dynamic running back. They had TCU wide receiver Savion Williams in for a visit. Williams, not the TCU wide receiver that I was expecting the Steelers to have for a visit. Of course, I'm referencing Jack Besh, who has, flew up draft boards like a rocket, going back to, how he did in the Senior Bowl and whatnot, but still Savion Williams, a good wide receiver. He's on my list as well. Iowa defensive tackle Yaha Black from Iowa defensive tackle. They drafted defensive tackle Logan Lee last year. He's an Iowa Hawkeye as well, so don't be surprised if the Steelers end up using a late round pick on Black, or possibly making him a primary, undrafted free agent. And then the last one here, another running back who I'm in love with and is flying up draft boards, Bashal Tutin from Virginia Tech. Dude is an absolute blazer. I think he ran the fastest 40 at the combine among running backs, and really, just like Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren, a guy who's going to be a burner, a big play threat, and best part of all is that he's going to be a, mid to late round selection. Probably when the draft rolls around, we'll see, how far him running the fastest 40 at the combine raised him up teams' draft boards. But would think he would be a home run pick if the Steelers take him. The only thing he, really doesn't have going for him is that he's got a bit of a fumbling issue. And we all know that that's a no-no. Turnovers are the biggest pet peeve that Mike Tomlin has for his players, but hopefully that's something that can be, coached out of him. But yeah, Bashal Tutin, Dylan Sampson, two great running backs. Steelers have been visiting wide receiver Savion Williams, who could be, a late round day 3 draft pick for the Steelers, could be your, 5 or 6 wide receiver, and then defensive tackle Yaha Black from Iowa, who I'm sure the Steelers wouldn't mind bringing in another Iowa Hawkeye. Back to the comments section here. Sam, again, well, quarterbacks have different skill sets. It's all about who fits the system. Burrow on the Ravens or Lamar on the Bengals wouldn't be as good. Yeah, well, I mean, I think the Ravens would probably, or the Bengals would probably be in a better situation if Lamar was out there, because Lamar is one of the most elusive quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Bengals would be just as good, if not better, because Lamar is so good at that, and the Bengals offensive line is just so trash, or it has been for years. They're like trying to, make it as best as they can, but no matter what they do, it seems it's not getting better. And then Flacco, welcome back. Welcome back, Steelers Nation. Absolutely. Talking more Steelers football here, getting back. Talking about, Jackson Dart becoming a Steeler, possibly. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sick of his ass. I don't want him anymore. Cooper Kupp, possibly becoming a Steeler. Unlikely, but, you never know. Omar Khan. I didn't really give the Steelers that much of a chance to trade for DK Metcalf, but I'm eating my words on that. But yeah, just here talking Steelers. Chad, welcome back. Sup, I think our Steelers should move on from Aaron Rodgers. Probably won't get an answer till next week or month. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It went from this morning, Diana Rossini, go look her up on X. She's been the insider of the day. It went from earlier this morning. She was reporting, Rodgers' agent said that we're going to have a decision soon, and it's either going to be the Giants or the Steelers, with the Steelers being the most likely landing spot, to now within the past couple of hours saying, Rodgers is waiting for the Minnesota Vikings to decide if they're going to make him an offer or not. And then I think as soon as the Vikings make him an offer, he's going to go there. Honestly, I'm rooting for the Vikings to give him an offer because I don't want him. And also, it'd be hilarious seeing him complete his Brett Favre arc. So, yeah, I'm over it. I'm fully invested, all aboard the Mason Rudolph and Jackson Dart bandwagon. And I don't care if we, for the second year in a row, have a completely new quarterback room. Kupp is too much money. Rodgers, too much money. Rodgers, definitely too much money. I said it earlier because Rossini also reported here earlier this morning that apparently the offer that the Giants are making Rodgers is more money than what the Steelers are offering. And even though the agent said that, Rodgers would like to go to Pittsburgh between the two, do you ever remember a time where Rodgers has taken less money to, either stay with a team or go to a team? No, Rodgers wants his money. I don't care. He's going to go there. Or, in the end, Rodgers is going to end up being a Steeler, and he was using, waiting, hoping that the Vikings make him an offer for the Steelers to raise their price. That's another thing that we can't rule out, is that everything you're hearing now, the reports that the Giants offer is more lucrative, or that he's waiting for the Vikings to make an offer, that could all be a ploy by Rodgers and his agency to try to get the Steelers to raise their offer and find out just how bad they actually want Rodgers. And yeah, Kupp, too much money too. I don't think, Kupp is going to be on the market for much longer. I think somebody's going to pay him handsomely, and rightfully so. I just don't think it's going to be the Steelers, no matter how bad we want him here in Pittsburgh. 15 mil for 1 year is crazy for a third string wide receiver, even though it is Kupp. His injuries keep adding up too. Yeah, just too much money, too much risk for injury. And he's also going from, do you consider SoFi Stadium a dome? It's got that canopy on it, but it's, open. So he's going from warm, sunny Los Angeles to where he's going to be playing outside in the elements in uncovered Acrisure Stadium, for half the year. He's not going to fare well in that type of weather week in, week out. I don't think if he were to come to Pittsburgh, I don't think there's any way he plays the entire season. I would rather bring back Russ over Rodgers. At this point, yeah, I'd rather have, immobile on the last leg of his career, positive Russell Wilson, than immobile last leg of his career, locker room distraction Rodgers. Not denying that. I'm fully on board with going with Rudolph and Jackson Dart over both of those. But if I had to pick between Russ and Rodgers, I'm to the point I'm picking Russ. Also, he has that relationship already with DK Metcalf and Pickens and everybody else on the offense. It's just a matter of building back up that bridge with Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin. Slam and Sam, Jordan Love to the Jets. Yeah, in about 10, 12 years. Wait till he's, at least past the age of 35. Yeah, Jordan Love's going to be a Jet. It'll be interesting to see how long Justin Fields sticks out there. Rodgers needs to fund his lifestyle after football. Yeah, he needs the money. I mean, you're paying for all of these trips to some foreign country to smoke some sort of plant medicine, drink ayahuasca tea. That stuff doesn't come free. I'm sure he's going to get a couple bucks. Maybe he'll go make another uh Netflix documentary. I got to watch that too just to, fully push me off the cliff of not wanting Aaron Rodgers. Flacco, we suck in the cold weather. Last maybe 7 years, we have had a long record of losing from end of November to end of season. Yeah, that's a Mike Tomlin thing too. I mean, pretty much think going off the top of my head, when's the last time that you saw the Steelers win a big game in that kind of weather? I mean, literally the only thing I can think of was when they won that game for Franco, Kenny Pickett to George Pickens at the end of the game on Franco's retirement in celebration of life night. So yeah, definitely got to figure that out. It's especially when, it was last year in the cold in playoffs. You have, Kirk Herbstreit on the call saying there's no fight in the Steelers anymore. And I think that goes to Tomlin. I think a reason why the Steelers have, once, end of November, early December hits, they fall flat on their faces is because, and I think Tomlin's pushing them too hard. Players have, come out and said like, oh, we're almost every practice we get tackling to the ground, we're going hard. I think Tomlin's being too hard on him. It's a new day in the NFL where it's, you don't need to question the toughness of a bunch of players. They made the NFL for a reason. You just got to get them as healthy as you can, week to week, game by game, and tackling to the ground every single, chance you get isn't doing that. All right. In the meantime here, let's hit on a, couple other Steelers notes real quick that have come across here within the last 24 hours. Last night, Steelers, they are just now officially a Russell Wilson signing away from having a completely new quarterback room for the second time in 2 years. Quarterback Kyle Allen, he's on his way to Detroit to back up Jared Goff. Good for Kyle Allen, professional, great teammate. Hope he does well behind Jared Goff up in Detroit. Have no ill will for him. I think remember him coming in for, a couple of plays in the regular season. Got to see a lot of him in the preseason as well. Another Steeler going elsewhere. Offensive lineman Nate Herbig just signed a 1-year deal 2 hours ago with the Washington Commanders. So he goes down there and now goes from blocking, he didn't play last year, but, hopefully he can stick there playing with Jaden Daniels. Almost said James Daniels there. Looking at some of the things. Oh, this one just came across an hour ago. Pretty crazy. So for those of you who have been tracking where former Steelers have gone, Larry Ogunjobi signed with the Buffalo Bills a couple of days ago. And now this from Joe, I'm going to butcher his last name here, Joe Buscaglia, Bills beat reporter for The Athletic. The Bills made 2 additions to the defensive line up there in Buffalo. Defensive end Michael Hoyt and defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. And now both are going to be suspended for the first 6 games of next season for a PED violation. So they're suspended for 6 games. They'll be with the team through the training camp and then away from the team for 4 weeks. Buscaglia continued, so pretty crazy there. Larry Ogunjobi signs with the Bills, and then a couple days later, just like that, he's suspended. Mason Rudolph signing, official, of course. Justin Fields, these are, less Steelers-related topics. Justin Fields picked number 7 up there in New York, last worn by Jets legend Hassan Reddick. So kind of odd. I guess was number 1 taken or retired up for the Jets. I'm unsure, but yeah, Fields taken number 7 up there. And then also, let's take a good big old laugh to Myles Garrett of the Browns, dropping an absolute banger quote earlier today. Quote, "I think the fans will see my heart is in the right place. It's never been about the money. It's always been about winning." Yeah, sure it is, Garrett. It was about winning when you requested your trade out of there. And I'm sure it's about winning when you rescinded that trade request and signed for $40 million. Definitely not about the money. Definitely about winning. Good old, known for winning franchise in the Cleveland Browns, and definitely not about the money as you rack up $40 million a year. Get the hell out of here. Slamming Jaden Daniels uses VR. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that works for him. That's one of the newer things quarterbacks are using to prepare. Steelers definitely don't have that with their, crappy split training facility with Pitt. And I mean, Chelsea, Najee Harris had his introductory press conference with the Chargers. Yeah, Najee was like, "Oh, I came here. I felt like I was back at Alabama. This weight room, this facility is so nice." Definitely taking a subtle shot at the Steelers, and just sick of the Steelers, sharing the facility and Acrisure Stadium with Pitt. They really need to get their own facility. Be like the Penguins. Go build your facility. There's plenty of land out in Cranberry. Go build a facility there. Have your players practice there. And then hopefully Pitt gets their act together and they build an on-campus field here soon, and Steelers can have Acrisure Stadium back all to themselves. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm saying. LOL, we don't like spending money the Steelers way. Yeah. I mean, for God's sake, I think it was either Cam Hayward or Patrick Peterson, one of the two, just said that within like the past couple of years, the Steelers just got a sauna. They were always making jokes that they would go to like a local hotel and use their sauna. Like Rooney, people are starting to protest Rooney's ownership, just like how Pirates fans are protesting Bob Nutting owning the Bucks. And, more and more, it's feeling like Rooney, he's putting just as much money into, his team off the field as Nutting is. Is it me, or I think the Steelers are still going to make an insane move? Not sure what it is yet, but I get the feeling Khan wants another hit on the offense, but waiting to see what happens draft day. I'm not counting Omar Khan out of anything. It seems like when people are, doubting him the most, Omar Khan, he then comes for an insane move. Like people were on him saying, "Oh, Omar Khan, are you awake? Can confirm Omar Khan woke up today," and then boom, Sunday night DK Metcalf trade hits like crack. So not ruling that out, but what would that move be? I don't know. I mean, logical, Cooper Kupp. Illogical, insane, trading for Brock Purdy, something like that. I mean, maybe a signing on defense. Now, this is just somebody throwing this out there on X earlier today, so I don't know its validity, but apparently somebody said Steelers are looking into Calais Campbell for the defensive line. I mean, veteran dude who's been good everywhere he's been, would love bringing him in. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not counting out Omar Khan pulling a rabbit out of his hat one more time like he did Metcalf, but we'll see. Plus, Khan and the Steelers front office should stop sitting around and get the TJ Watt extension done. Absolutely. I've been saying that for weeks now. I said it after Max Crosby got his deal done, and then I've been questioning why haven't they done it, especially after Myles Garrett got his big extension done that made him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Because I don't think TJ is going to ask for top dollar and, demand that the Steelers pay him and break the bank to pay him more than Garrett. I do think that Watt Steele is going to come in a hair over Max Crosby's, but yeah, I mean, I'd be very worried if the Cowboys get a deal done with Micah Parsons or, Trey Hendrickson gets traded and paid. If those two things happen before TJ gets paid. Steelers just, he wants to be here. You know that you want him to be here. Just get it done. You got You got $65 million in cap space heading into free agency. Use it. Just get TJ done. You got the money. So we'll see what happens there. Their computer system's probably using Windows Millennium. They're probably still got the big box TVs with the, big back end too as well. They got cable in the facility and nothing else. I wouldn't mind the Steelers getting Ohio State running back Trevion. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Trevion Henderson. Yeah, he's on top of my list here. I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, I mean, I love this running back class. It's deep. You can get a guy in round 1. You can get a guy in round 3. You can get a guy in round 7, possibly even undrafted, and the Steelers, can make the most out of them. Yeah, running backs that I have on my, document here. Ashton Genty's number 1. Omarion Hampton's going to be number 2. Beyond that, I mean, these are in no particular order. I take either of the Ohio State running backs, Trevion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. I have Caleb Johnson from Iowa on here, though he's kind of fallen down my board. Don't bite my head off. I'm not as big on Cam Scatabo like everyone else apparently is. Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State. I have on here Dylan Sampson, of course, and then some mid to late round guys: Devin Neal, Bashal Tootin, Jordan James from Oregon, a guy who is a high sleeper pick that would be probably the best pick, biggest steal of the draft if they take him in round 5 would be Damian Martinez from Miami. I love watching that dude's tape. Of course, guys they met with, DJ Giddens, and so on and so forth. Kyle Monongai from Rutgers, another guy they met with, though probably not a guy they'll be looking to draft. Flacco, that Darius Slay conference made me shed a tear, giving praise to Rod Woodson, my idol. Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't be happier. People are knocking the signing a little bit, saying, oh, you could have had Travarius Ward or Carlton Davis, one of those guys that costed a pretty penny in free agency. But I love that Darius Slay signing. Think he's got a lot of good football left in him. He's going to be a Joe Hayden for this team, where he's going to steady out the corner room until Joey Porter Jr. finds his footing, or somebody else maybe they draft comes up and turns into that number 1. Real quick, I'm sure you guys got more Steelers stuff to talk about. Just hit on the Penguins and Pirates real quick. Penguins last night took down the St. Louis Blues 4-3, and good game from them. Lots of scoring from guys you didn't expect. Ryan Graves, who knew he could scored his first goal of the season. 2 new guys, Connor Timmins, Connor Dewar, they got their first goals as Penguins, and then Ricard Raquel iced it with the empty netter, and they're tanking their tank. Tristan Jarry has played like Dominic Hasek, and right when you need the team to lose and tank out for a number 1 draft pick, they're going to, turn into the dream team these, last couple games of the season and be picking like 10th or whatever. And then also Sidney Crosby now 8 points away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record for at least a point per game seasons at 20, beating Gretzky's record of 19. Sid's going to break that, hopefully. Knock on wood. Just stay healthy, break the record. Since he was 18 years old, dude's been a stud, and just an absolute honor watching him play hockey. And then some Pirates news. Had their prospect game earlier today, lost to the Philadelphia Phillies prospects 5-3. They're about to start another spring training game here in about 10 minutes. But Bubba Chandler started the game for the Bucks. Looks every bit of being the Bucks' number one prospects. Only pitched 2 innings, but had 4 strikeouts. I don't think he's going to start the year, but I don't see any reason why that kid isn't going to be in the majors, kind of like Paul Skeens last year, where he's down there for a couple of months and then you bring him up in, May or June. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bucks starting their A lineup of what they'll probably be starting in the regular season. Got the lineup right here, I thought. Yeah, Tommy Pham leading off, Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, Joey Bart, Andrew McCutchen, Nick Gonzalez, Nick York, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Jared Triolo, Andrew Heaney's pitching. That's pretty much as close as you're going to get to their starting lineup when the season begins right there. And like I said, they're going to start here in a couple of minutes. Back to the comment section. And he's not far from home. Yeah, Darius Slay. I think he's going to fit in well here, be a great addition here in Pittsburgh. Also, isn't Rod Woodson? He's over there in Ireland, or he was with Pat Freiermuth partying it up. I see. That's kind of a bittersweet celebration trip in Ireland for Muth. I saw the video of him celebrating the DK Metcalf trade, and then 2 days later, he loses his buddy Najee Harris. Loved Shane Gillis talking crap about JJ and praising TJ. Shane Gillis, what a comedian. Got to go watch his Saturday night SNL skits. Also, speaking of Shane Gillis, didn't I hear something where he's going on a tour and any money that he makes, he's putting into like the Notre Dame NIL fund or something like that. So about to give Notre Dame a whole bunch of money if he does that. I kind of want a power back, but who knows? Like they say, running backs are deep. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the running back class, Scatabo, definitely a power back because you got Gainwell and Warren now. 2 guys with very similar traits, guys who have burst and good receivers, can do some kick returns on special teams. So, I mean, you lost your power back now in Najee, and there's a handful of power backs in this draft. Like I said, you got Scatabo, power back, Ollie Gordon. He's 6'1.5", 226. So he's got some power to his game. Omarion Hampton, he's no lightweight, 6 foot, 221. Caleb Johnson, 6'1", 224. Quinshon Judkins got a little bit of size and weight to him. Ashton Genty, if you want to spend a first round pick on him, if he's there for, his size, he's no lightweight. So yeah, there are some power backs in the draft. I'm not sure, is DJ Giddens one of them, 6 foot, 212? He's a guy who the Steelers have brought in for a visit. So yeah, Steelers could use a power back. It's just a matter of what they want and what they think can fit best in this Arthur Smith offense, because we saw how a power back Najee Harris did in the Smith offense, and it didn't turn out too well. I'd be interested in Jackson or Edwards as 7th round depth pick. I assume you're talking about Donovan Edwards there, and Jackson. Who's Jackson? I don't have him on my list here. I think I know him if you give me a first name, but yeah, Donovan Edwards. I mean, I consider it. Had a kind of a down year with Michigan, but yeah, I take Edwards. Man, I like Najee. Great character, reliable, playing hurt and all. Yeah, definitely. One of the best availability. Oh yeah, Jaquindon. Jaquindon. I do remember him now. Yeah, Arkansas. I think so. Yeah, could take him as well. But going back, I mean, Najee. They say best ability is availability, and he fought hard through injury, didn't miss a game, and just sucks that things didn't work out here. And I think, he's going to be a hell of a back out there in LA. Those guys would be fourth or fifth round other years. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that if I had to pick a round right now that the Steelers are going to be taking a running back, it would be in the like the fifth round right now. I also be interested. I am not going to put it by the Steelers at all, thinking that they could move down in the first round and pick up a couple more mid-round picks and just fill out their roster that way. Like if it were up to me, if my this is just me spitballing here, I could probably come up with something better later on. If I had to pick the most ideal draft for the Steelers this year, it would be you move down in the first round, possibly pick up another third or even if it's possible, a second round pick. You take Jackson Dart, and then in the middle rounds, first line of business, you take a defensive tackle. I've been, very vocal for Deion Walker. I think who's a guy 6'7", 350 plus pounder who's, going to be an absolute just tank in the middle of that defensive line for a run stopper. And you need that kind of guy when you're in a division with Derrick Henry. And then, you get your running back. I don't think, the Ohio State guys are going to fall that far. Tennessee's Dylan Sampson, Ollie Gordon, but still, deep running back draft. You can get some value picks, build out. But I think the Steelers are going to take two defensive linemen in this draft, one early, one late. Maybe a late round corner to fill out the corner room, or even a safety. That's a position that not many people are talking about the Steelers taking in the draft, safety, because right now I think it just Minkah Fitzpatrick and Deshaun Elliott under contract. I don't remember. I don't think DeMonte Casey's on the team. Terrell Edmonds is gone. You're gonna get what's his name? Watts from Texas, who they drafted last year, missed all of last season with an injury. So Steelers are going to use a pick on a defensive back of some sort, and then maybe a wide receiver. Steelers could trade with Chiefs or Eagles and get at least a next year's 3, and Dart would still be there. I hope so. The way Dart's flying up draft boards, I'm kind of hesitant to trade back, but I think first round is going to be more people targeting defensive line and offensive line, which the Steelers can, get still great players at those positions in the later rounds. But yeah, I hope Dart's there. Not too sure about moving. Well, I would move back with the Eagles. They're good trade partners. Not entirely sure of helping the Chiefs anymore because, we saw how that worked out with the Bills making a trade with the Chiefs last year. I'm so mad King Henry went to the Ravens, just makes them super G's. I hate the Ravens. Yeah, no kidding. And he just ran over you, punched you in the face, took your lunch money, took your car, took your wife, took your house in that playoff game last year. So you need somebody to combat King Henry. And most of all, you need a guy who is going to be scary looking, and a guy who's willing to put his face in the fan. You used to have that in Bob Spillane. He's gone now, up in New England. You used to have that in Landon Roberts. For some strange reason, you signed Malik Harris 2 years, $10 million instead of bringing back Roberts for what, 3.5? So you lost two, grit your teeth, run your head through a wall linebackers there. So you got to fill out your defensive line like that. I'm going to, give Deion Walker from Kentucky a fair shake at being, a great matchup against Henry, 6'7", 330-pounder against Henry. You need beef and you need fearlessness. And right now, the Steelers are lacking in both of those departments on defense right now. But hey, I'm going to give it time. Let the draft play out. We'll revisit that conversation here in about a month and a half after the draft. No team after the Steelers need a quarterback. If he's gone before the Steelers pick. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take Dart, you have to take him in the first round just because in the case of the Giants, if they were some reason go Travis Hunter, then they're sitting there nice and pretty at pick 34, I believe, ready to scoop up a quarterback like that. I don't think Dart falls too far into the second round. Steelers need to take him in the first. And, ever since, I hopped on that bandwagon a couple of nights ago, I thought there's no way that they're even thinking about Dart. But now, I mean, this is one thing I forgot to get to earlier. Jerry Dulac, who some people say is, the most tied in to Art Rooney, said the Steelers are reportedly higher on Jackson Dart and Will Howard from Ohio State than any other quarterback in the draft, per Jerry Dulac. Here's the quote. He said, "I know they like Dart and I know they like Howard, despite how he looked at the NFL scouting combine. There were about 5 or 6 guys they scouted at the There were about 5 or 6 guys that they scouted at the combine heavily, but I would say probably those two if you were looking for somebody higher than normal, as opposed to maybe a 4th or 5th round pick. Dart is currently, projected to be a 1st round pick. Could sneak in there. But yeah, if the Steelers can trade down and take him at the bottom of the 1st, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and I'm not thinking twice. I hope he's there." But yeah, 6 of you in here right now. For those of you who've been popping in and out, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We are at 311 subscribers right now. Want to keep that going up day by day. Dart is a better fit for the Steelers than either Ward or Sanders. Yeah, I mean, his mobility is very slept on, and he's one of the better passers in this draft. I look at Cam Ward, who's going to go number 1 overall, as sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. But, I mean, I think Cam Ward can develop into one of, if not the best passer of the football out of this entire draft class. I'm starting to come around on Dart. Absolutely. Join the bandwagon. I believe it was on 93.7 The Fan last week. Steelers legend Jack Ham got his autographed photo right here. Hang on. This guy right here. This guy right here. He's aboard the Dart train. That doesn't mean you have to not be. Don't be scared to join the Dart train. Join him. Join us. Jackson Dart, Mississippi, with the, whether it's the 21st, the 24th, the 28th overall pick, 32nd, the Steelers take Mississippi quarterback Jackson Dart. Join us. I'm fully invested in Jackson Dart. Oh, wow, great picture. Thank you very much. Sanders is accurate and evasive. Yeah, but I don't see Sanders falling out of the top 10. I'd be shocked if he falls out of the top 10. I think, is it fair to say that Shedeur Sanders and Ashton Genty, they are the two wild cards of this draft. Like either of those two can either be taken second overall or, fall back into the teens. Kind of like how the Falcons taking Michael Penix was the hairpin that set off the grenade of uncertainty for all teams in the first round in last year's draft. I think where those two end up is going to be very, very telling as to how the first round is going to go. But yeah, Flacco, thank you for the picture. Yeah, I got that autographed. Of course, WWE guy got George the Animal Steel signed there. Sergeant Slaughter up there. The old 2-9er Phil Bork back there behind the Penguins street lamp. And I think that's about all I got autographed in here right now. Oh, also, here, let me slide over, grab this. Ben Roethlisberger, his football and cookbook. Got that one autographed as well. I believe when he came out with these, he was giving away, I think 200 autograph copies that they were, given away to people who ordered them. And made this out of this book. Strongly suggest the fajitas and the kibasi sliders. Haven't gotten around to making a whole bunch out of this thing. Made about 4 or 5 of those items in there, but yeah, good cookbook there from Ben's cook, Evan. I see wrestlers at the bar all the time. Yeah, what bar? That's cool. Dart is a strong arm guy, gets the ball out quick too. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be accurate passer. He throws with good anticipation. I think the only knock that people are giving Dart is that how well is he reading the field past his first progression, but you can work on that with a guy. I think the talent is there, and I'm fully invested on him. He's easily behind Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders just because those guys are pretty much guaranteed to go in the top 10. He's easily my number 3 quarterback. And behind him, number 4, another guy who the Steelers invited for a visit, a guy who's number 4 on my list of quarterbacks, Tyler Shuck from Louisville. 6'5", 25 years old. Dude can spin it. Dealt with some injuries, but, injuries in college are one thing, in the NFL is another. So I think what I'll do is, maybe when I'm on here with you, find people and we have a active, audience like this. I think what I'll do here in the coming weeks leading up to the draft is maybe like pick a night, load up a mock draft simulator, whether it be, PFF, Pro Football Network, whatever one that was. And then also one of these nights, I think what NFL teams do in the first round is that they pick their pick. Like, say the Steelers have pick number 21, they list their top 21 prospects, and they say, listen, these are our top 21 prospects. At least one of these guys are bound to fall to our pick 21, and we'll take that. We'll make what I think the Steelers, top 21 should be. Chuck for the Titans makes sense to me. Unless they take Ward. I think they're taking Ward at this point. I mean, they could take Hunter or Abdul Carter, but I mean, from what we're all hearing, yeah, it's going to be Ward. What would be hilarious is if they do take Carter or Hunter, and then the Browns at number 2 take Ward, because we all know that no matter what quarterback you throw into that place, that Cleveland is an organization where quarterbacks are bound to fail. So it'd be hilarious if the Browns wasted their first pick on a quarterback. It's a bar called Gaspers in Tampa. Not a huge bar, but they're in there all the time. The bartenders are wrestlers in training. Oh, that's cool. So that's down near the Performance Center, WWE Performance Center down there. I'm sure you see. Yeah, I mean, Florida is the big wrestling state because you got the WWE Performance Center down there in Orlando, NXT, all that. So yeah, no doubt you see wrestlers there all the time. Sure, you might get a couple of AEW people because aren't they based in Jacksonville? So yeah, I'll have to check that out next time I'm, in Florida and, roaming around. I'm in heading to Florida here in May, so maybe I'll check it out then if I have time. Tell me I can get Ward or I couldn't, or I could get Abdul, Carter, and Shuck. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. You can either say that you can either get Carter and Shuck, or you can get Ward and see if one of those defensive tackles falls out of the first round. Like here, let me get down here to my defensive lineman category. Like you can either have Carter and Shuck, or you can see if Walter Nolan falls out of the first round. Derek Harmon could fall out of the first round. Tyleik Williams, Ohio State. Looking at the edge rushers, Darius Alexander from Toledo, dude who's been lighting it up at the Senior Bowl and Combine and all that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be Ward, but we'll have to wait and see. I think if the Steelers pass on Dart and they take Carter in the first round, the Titans do, that it's going to be Carter and Dart and they'll win the draft. Last person I saw there was Tyson Kidd and Natalia table right next to me. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's always fun watching, seeing them, looking at them on Twitter next. I'm jealous. I'm envious of that. That's a hell of a combination. Natty seems like such a nice person. Both of them are. Also, wouldn't mind checking out Natalia and Tyson's kids' Heart Dungeon, too. But yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's do a quick stroll through Twitter before I hop off. See if anything else new news-wise is coming on right now. Not seeing much of anything. Oh, Steelers giving away a Darius Slay signed terrible towel. Yep, definitely gonna enter that. Yeah, Mason Rudolph signing official today. Also rocking a sick goatee. Mason Rudolph with a goatee. He's about to turn into prime Ben. I think 4 or 5 of those defensive tackles might go in the first round. Chiefs and Eagles are both looking to go D-line. Not necessarily sure about the Chiefs. They got, a lot of holes to fill on that offensive line, trading Tooney. They got Trey Smith on a franchise tag. So if there's a good, decent offensive lineman there for the Chiefs, I think they're going to take him. Eagles, yeah, they're definitely taking a defensive tackle. It seems like they take one every first round, for crying out loud. Scrolling here. Larry Ogunjobi officially wearing number 99 with the Bills. Going to have to wait 6 games to wear that with his PED suspension. Slay and DK Metcalf in Latrobe. That's another thing that's going to be absolutely, cinema to watch. I wasn't higher on Dart because of his look. LOL. I thought Milrow had the look, but I'm in on the bandwagon now. Yeah, I mean, I would. You could talk me into Milrow, taking Milrow too, but it's just, Milrow, I would, if he were to fall to this third round, I'd be in on him if the Steelers don't take Dart in the first. I'd take him because his only real issue is his accuracy. And what other quarterback in the NFL right now did we see come into the league and look like he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn, but had all the other tools? And that was Josh Allen. Accuracy is something that can be worked on. So, yeah, Milroe, he's probably number 4 or 5 on my quarterback list. Chiefs and Eagles both might go defensive tackle. Yeah, I mean, Chris Jones ain't getting any younger. Chiefs, I think their first-round pick definitely is going to be in the trenches in one way, shape, or form. So, 11 of you in here right now. Appreciate you being on with me tonight. I see now Steelers Draft HQ, which has been on top of a bunch of stuff today. They are following up Jerry Dulac's report. The Steelers are heavily interested in Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. Dart is considered one of few 2 quarterback prospects in this year's draft. Expect Dart to be considered for a top 30 visit. I will not officially believe that the Steelers are in on Dart until I see he takes a top 30 visit. Then I will lose my mind, and the dream will be real. Looking here. Yes, Avion Williams, seeing him for a top 30 visit confirmed. So, okay. All right. 12 of you in here right now. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I think I'm going to hop off for the night. For those of you who are here, if you haven't already, subscribe, turn on those notifications, like, share, comment the stream, and I will see you guys either back here if there's any massive breaking news over the weekend, or I will see you back here on Monday with another live stream around this time like this with you beautiful people. Thank you to everybody who, was in here the whole time. Flacco commenting, slamming, Sam, Chad Schrader up here. Appreciate you all. And I will see you guys back here with either breaking news or back here on Monday. Turn on those notifications so that you know when I go live. Appreciate it. Hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. Flacco, don't have too fun there at gas bars in Tampa. Appreciate you all. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.